Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to work on the pop-ups, which will finish out the menu bar. Now, something I don't think I mentioned in the last tutorial was that with menu bars, the way that we have it set up, we're only going to be able to use one pop-up per menu. We're not going to have multiple sub menus like this. It's only going to be one menu. Now we may change that later on, but the system that we have set up right now, that is how it's going to be used. So at the current moment we'll be able to make pop-ups, just not multiple pop-ups or multiple sub menus. So let's go ahead and finish this out. So we'll go to source and GUI. We'll put it in here. And this shouldn't be too difficult. So hopefully we can get it done fairly quickly. So create a new script called pop-up. And the first thing that we need in the pop-up class is the name area. Now, the name area is the area of the current name. For instance, this right here, project, where it is highlighted, that is the name area. That way we know where to offset this this pop-up. Same thing if we right click over here, we know where the pop-up should be, and of course for us it will be on the far side of this name area versus like right here, right beside where the cursor is. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We haven't gotten that far yet, so we'll see what we want to do with the name area later on. Let's get this in here. But yeah, that's the gist of what this name area is. Now, secondly, we need a list of strings called list. Now, this list is the list of strings that are going to be inside of this pop-up. So that's all that is. Now, another thing is we need a private consumer string. We'll call this func. And this is the function that is going to be called if it is clicked on. Not the name area, but the actual menu item. So if I clicked here, it'll call back clean. Alright, and of course we're going to need an iterator. So I, and then we need a private rect list area. Now this is going to be the area for the list, obviously. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then we need a GUI style of box. And lastly, we need a color or previous color. And import color from math. Now, we need a constructor for this. So we're going to say public pop-up rect name area. And then we need a list string list and a consumer string func. That way we can pass in our callback. And the first thing we're going to do is set the name area, because we know that that's not going to be changing. And so this dot name area equals name area. The list also will not be changing, so this dot list equals list. Now we need to loop through this list. So for I equals 0, I is lower than list dot size I plus plus. Now inside of here, all we're going to do is we're going to create a float. W equals GUI dot font dot string width, and then in here we're going to call list dot get I. So that's going to get the size of the current string that we're going to be rendering in that list. And what we're doing is W is for width. So we're going to get the current width and we're going to store it. And then we need to find out if it's going to be the widest width. So we're going to say if W, oh, I didn't make a width, did I? I'll get that in just a second. So if W is greater than widest, then we're going to say widest equals W. So right here we need to create a new float. Say float widest equals 0. So then that will get the widest string inside of there. So we know the total overall size or width of the window. So as you can see, this occurrences, shift, whatever. It's basically going to get the widest one, and that's going to be the width of the window, versus, you know, over here it would be like right there, and it would cut off most of these. So we need a way to display all of it. So here we can go list area equals new rect. Now in here I'm going to throw in some kind of random numbers just to kind of make it a little bit bigger, if you know what I mean, just so that it's not so close together. So we're going to go name area dot x, because we want it to be the same x value as like right here, so it'll stay the same there. Now as for the y, it's going to be name area dot y plus name area dot height, and then we're going to subtract it by 1. And the reason is because we're going to be using nameRect dot contains mouse position. So if we do not do this -1, what it's going to do is it's going to offset it so that if our cursor is right here, it's not going to register that our cursor is still above, you know, still over this or this. It's going to register that it's in between, so then it's going to disappear and deselect window. We don't want that, so we want to raise that name area up a little bit so that it registers that our mouse is still inside of that area. So then we're going to go widest. So we're going to take the widest string size, and then not multiply. We're going to add an extra probably 12. So that'll add a little bit padding, or a little bit of padding on the right side. And then we're going to say for the height, go 28 times list size, and then add an extra 4 to it. And the reason why we're doing 28 times list size is because when we're drawing it, we're going to use 28. So if you're wanting 30 or whatever, just change this 28 to 30. So this is basically just the size of the text, height-wise. And then we're just adding an additional 4 to it. Okay, so the next thing in the constructor is you need to get GUI dot skin dot get and box. Now I did not do the white box, which I may just go ahead and copy that over during this tutorial, but we're just going to use box for the moment to make sure that it works, because I'm going to use the white box for the menu bar too. I just forgot to do that before I started recording. So then we're just going to set this dot func equals func. So that was pretty simple. So this is going to store all of our pop-up information. And this is going to set all that information. Now we need the ability to draw it or find out the current box area. So we can go public final rect box area, and this will return the box area. Right? Did I not name it box area? List area, not box area. List area. So now all that's left is to draw it. So we're going to go public pop-up draw, because we're going to return the current pop-up that we are drawing. So we need vector to mouse position equals mouse dot position, and that will cache the mouse position for us. Now, if not list area dot contains mouse position and name area dot contains mouse position, then we're just going to return null. So if the mouse is not over the name area, and it's also not over this area, then whenever we move the cursor away, then this pop-up needs to go away, and it needs to deselect this. So if you do not want that to remove, then I think you can just remove this line. If you don't want the mouse cursor like away from it and it just disappear. You'll have to add some extra catches though to see if the cursor is over top of it for whenever you're drawing the boxes and stuff. So right here we'll need to go rect draw area equals GUI.box list area, and then pass in the box. And next we need to set the color. So previous color equals GUI.text color. That way we can set the text color back like we did in the last episode. And say GUI.text color equals whatever color we want the text to be. So I'm going to say black. Now let's loop through this list and begin drawing it. So I local list dot size I plus plus. That's capital F. All right, now right here, whenever we draw the button, we need to see if we clicked on it or not. So if GUI.button list.getI, and then as for the rect, we need to say new rect draw area.x and draw area.y plus, and then in here we need to put let's see, 28 times I. And like I said before, 28 is your text height, so you can change that to whatever you want. Draw area dot width, and here again is your height, so 28. Now next is the normal style, which we're just going to use null. I don't know how that just happened. And box. I don't want that. So if we click on it, then we need to say func dot accept, and then pass in list dot get I, and that will accept the function. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to set the text color back to what it was before. So GUI.text color equals previous color, and then we're going to return null. And returning null, what it's going to do is it's going to set the pop-up to null, because since we clicked on it, we don't need the pop-up anymore. And then down here say GUI.text color equals previous color, just like how we set it up before, except for we're going to be returning this because we didn't click on anything. So we're just going to return the current pop-up. So now we need to go into GUI and create a private static pop-up. Now we just need some methods to actually use it. So we can go public static boolean has pop-up. If you can remember, in the last tutorial we used some of these functions and put them in comments, which we will have to uncomment. We're going to return pop-up does not equal null. So that's going to return whether or not we have a pop-up. Now the next thing we need is the ability to set the pop-up. So we'll go public static void set pop-up, and then we're going to need a rect, which is going to be the name rect, and of course the list of string list and consumer string func. And then all we're going to do in this function is pop-up equals new pop-up, and then just pass in the same parameters. So name rect list func. And there's setting the pop-up. Now we need to draw the pop-up. So public static void draw pop-up. And here we need to check if it's null first. So if pop-up equals null. Actually, let's say does not equal null. Then we are going to say pop-up equals pop-up dot draw, and that is it. So now we have the ability to check if we have a pop-up. We have the ability to set the pop-up and draw the pop-up. And we're going to be using the constructor is undefined. Create constructor rect list of string consumer string. Create method draw. Hold on. Pop-up dot draw. Yes, it is in there. Did I just type it wrong? It looked like it was right. Name rect list func. Oh, it's just because I didn't save it. I always do something stupid like that. Alright. So, now, how we're going to do this is we're going to be using what I like to call a call now, render later method. And what I mean by this is everything before it is going to be calling, like you'll be able to set the pop-up anywhere in here. So whether it's well, anything after GL clear, and anything before this clear color. Yes. So right here, after renderer.render, and this is when we're going to actually draw the pop-up. So let's say GUI dot draw pop-up. Correct. I don't know. We'll see if that's correct. So in the menu bar, let's uncomment these and see how this is working. So there should have been 3 places to uncomment. Now let's see if this is going to work. Because I think I have to make a draw menus function and do it that way, but we'll see. Nothing. It is not sending anything to it or selecting. All right, give me just a minute. Okay, so we did need to change this. Because it was clearing it. So we need to remove that, the GUI.popup, and there, and we need to do it down here. So we need to prepare the GUI again, draw the pop-up, and then GUI.unbind. And the reason why we're doing a whole GUI.prepare and everything down here is because also for game GUI, it will also be in here as well. So we'll do the game GUI right here. But yes, it was not prepared, and yeah, it was just a big mess. So all we have to do is just put it down here, and that's it, and it'll work fine. Except for I must have messed up when rendering the menu itself. Because right here, as you can see, which I need to turn that white again, which as you can see, yes, it works perfect. It does not back out or anything, but right there, it does not transfer over. But if we hit new game object, as you can see, a new game object is created in the scene. So our menu is working as expected for the most part. So let's go back into pop-up, and for now put that back over to white just so that we can see it a little better. Alright, there it is. Our menu working just fine. We can do that as many times as we want, but of course it does not save it for the moment just because we don't have scene saving quite done yet. So yeah, that works. Let's see here. Menu bar. pop up. So if selected is not equal null, I guess I didn't have that typed up. We'll just have to do that some other time where it scrolls over like this instead of removing the thing. But we'll get to that. All right. Most likely I'm going to be doing another episode here in just a second. I'm getting kind of tired of, well, kind of annoyed with how we're rendering this, how it bumps over like that, because how we have the code is if there's no like padding for the skin, it goes, starts from 0 0, because of course there's no padding. So then when we click on it, this button does have padding, so it's shifting it over with the padding, which is perfectly fine. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how we wrote it. But what I want to do is I want to change the text anchor for buttons, or I should say text area anchor, so that this is completely centered, like up and down and left and right. So it's perfectly centered in this button. So I think I'm going to make another episode as soon as I'm done with this one. So this week you guys will get 2 episodes, and we will do some text anchoring for buttons. So I will see you here in a minute. All right. Thanks for watching.